Hey everyone, how are we doing? My name is Tim Pongraz and this is Focus on Detailing. Today's upload will be a collection of videos dedicated to the 335i going full bolt-on, without actually meaning to. This video was supposed to be purely about installing Arm Motorsport's 7-inch intercooler, but fortunately, it became so much more. From the challenges and issues I faced, I share them, so hopefully you can avoid them. I'm not afraid to show where I went wrong, if it means helping others not run into the same problems. So without further ado, let's get started on this install. The very first thing that had to be done was getting the front of the car higher so I could fit my jack underneath. This was as simple as driving up evenly onto some blocks. Can't forget to chock a back wheel or two and slap that handbrake on for safety. I jacked up the car from the point dedicated for it in the front section, then lowered it onto some jack stands. Before finding out what we'll be working with, I had to drop that flat floor. This involved undoing a lot of 8mm screws before it came down. I made sure to keep them all in the same safe spot, as the last thing I wanted was to find I was missing screws when it came to putting it all back together. Now the stock intercooler can be seen and it needs to be gone. Removing it was as simple as undoing the bolts either side and releasing the C-clip from the pipes at either end. After a bit of wiggling and jiggling, it came out, and I'd recommend before taking it down that you should take off the front bumper. It will have to be removed later on anyway, so we can fit in that new larger intercooler. Be wary of any mess that comes down. Can't really clean up there, so the stuff that's been sitting on top has had quite some time to build up. A good time to check if there's been any serious blow-by with oil in the pipes. Excess is obviously bad and can be minimised with the use of a catch can. Mine doesn't seem too bad though. Now there's nice to see some noticeable difference side by side with the intercoolers, main ones being the size and colour. Also a more dense fin setup. Moving back to the car, there's a plastic tag in there that's slotted in. It can be simply taken out as it just gets in the way. This gives you more space and believe me, you'll need it. Working on the screws they've given us, I placed the nut and the washer on both of them, before then screwing them up into their required spots either side. Obviously, this is what will be holding up the suspended new intercooler. This is what we're looking at, having the leftover length to hold up the intercooler. Unfortunately, there will be no 7-inch intercooler going in anywhere without some modifications. The bumper soon came off and the plastic across the lower front had to be cut off to make room. This is a required alteration, even stated by Arm Motorsport that some cutting may need to be done. This upgrade will hopefully allow for cooler running, not the cutting here but the intercooler itself. Now I dare you to go back through this video again and have a shot every time I say intercooler. When placing the intercooler in, it had to line up with both the screws and inlets at the back. Once that was done, it could be all tightened up, adding the additional washers and nuts beneath the intercooler to fix it firmly. The C-clips were also reattached and everything was put back on. I placed it on the trickle charger while using the MHD app to install the Stage 2 Plus tune. If you did it this way, hopefully it works for you, but for me, it wasn't quite right. We did our very best to fit the original pipes into the new intercooler, but no matter how much we tried, they just wouldn't fit. It could have been a whole lot more snug. Only on the one side would it fit, and if you didn't get them into it properly, the C-clip wouldn't insert into it correctly and hold it in place. And that then brought about our first issue, which was the boost leak. Straight back to Arm Motorsports I went, where I purchased the two new 3-inch pipes for either side, so they'd fit over the intercooler with a fastener rather than into it with the C-clip, making for hopefully a more snug fit. I don't have any footage of when we actually fitted the new pipes. This side was okay, the smaller one, but trying to fit the 3-inch pipe all the way up from the back of the intercooler all the way to the existing charge pipe was very difficult, as it's such a tight fit in there. Trying to film with these flies around is bloody difficult, but I want this footage, alright? See the things I do, going outside of my car and getting attacked by flies? But let's keep going. It did indeed fix the issue with the boost leak that was happening down here, but unfortunately it brought about a new issue, which was another boost leak up there. This time it was where the new pipe met the stock charge pipe. The stock charge pipe connection being rubber and smaller in diameter created an average seal into the new pipe. Closing down a clamp over it just didn't create a tight enough seal, so back to online shopping I went. To fix this issue I had to invest in a new charge pipe. The blow-off valve was an added extra, didn't need it but I wanted it, not realising it would create another issue. This charge pipe was a bit of a quick fix. It was an eBay special, and I do regret it, not paying a little bit more and getting something of quality, because I paid good money for the Arm Motorsport's intercooler and the pipes and my InGen intakes, but not the charge pipe. I'll assume you've already taken out your cold air intakes, whatever they may be, but anyway. First step was to disassemble and take out the existing charge pipe, and yes, I'm aware my engine is abnormally filthy. I took off the diverter valves, which are connected in 4 different places, removing by pushing a clip around, then lifting up, as well as the vacuum line that was connected further around the back. Be careful when removing it from the nipple, as it's delicate and prone to breaking. I then unplugged the T-map sensor to later be placed onto the new charge pipe. The diverter valves were no longer needed, but to remove the charge pipe completely, I had to just undo one screw at one end and the C-clip at the other end near the throttle body. Nice difference to the new and old when comparing. A mistake a lot of people make is they do all these modifications but forget to do the essential things like changing a charge pipe. So even though I didn't plan it, I would have ended up needing it anyway in the long run. I did all that I needed to do to fit in the new charge pipe, and unfortunately one of those things was modifying my InGen cold air intakes, the one on this side, so I could fit in the blow-off valve. At the time I thought it would be an issue, but I was hoping to not face it, but I did. If you have an InGen setup, you'll probably have to as well, because they come in close to the front and go exactly where your blow-off valve goes. I thought I was being smart by buying in Australia and avoiding those hefty international shipping costs when buying the modifications from overseas. But unfortunately, even though it was purchased in Australia, it's made in China, both the blow-off valve and the charge pipe. So basically, as you can imagine, it's not that great, the fitment and the build quality. I worked with it though because it's just a quick fix. I probably will end up getting one of better quality.
No.
No, more parts.
No more.
More parts. But anyway, if you can see down there, I've put 2 rubber stoppers over where the diverter valves would have been to stop any air leaks coming up from there. And basically, that's all I can do. Now for the moment you've all been rating. Yeah. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for, the test run. Gently. That's nice. It's nice. It's better. What stinks? Is that the car? Is that the clutch?
Got you in there.
But if I downshift like this, should be right. Just bang, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, blinker, and 1st. Okay, here we go. Let's juice it. Can you hear it? For people that are interested in the results of the intercooler, first thing I noticed, even though it did have the boost leak, that there was a difference in sound. More aggressive, more of a sucking sound under the revs. I would have preferred if the intercooler was stepped. Mine is the 7-inch, but it seems my prayers were answered just a little bit too late, because Arm Motorsports, almost as soon as I purchased mine, released the 7.5-inch stepped intercooler, so it comes up a little bit higher, removing that gap that you see in mine. My suggestion to fix the issue that I face, and maybe, hopefully you won't face it, but if you do, you should purchase the 3-inch pipes with the new intercooler. The intercooler that I put in kept the car nice and cool, and the MHD tune with the added burble just made it so much better. It finished it off nicely, the Stage 2 Plus tune. The charge pipe obviously made no increase in power, but it's a good investment, because when you're chucking more power into your car, you need to have parts that can handle the increase, hence the charge pipe. The blower valve, like I said before, wasn't necessary, but it was a nice finishing touch as well, and it gives you that nice whoosh sound when you take your foot off the pedal. Like I said before, pay a little bit more and get better quality. Even though this one does make the sounds that you might like, the quality in the fitment just wasn't good enough. So now my car has all the full bolt-on mods. You may remember a while back I took my car to Renmark and I got the catless downpipes fitted. And now all I need is one big single fat turbo.
No.
Why not?
No more car parts.
Just a few more. Doing modifications like this can be costly, not just for the parts themselves, but you got to worry about international shipping and the conversion of the currency. So when you're living in Australia and you own one of these cars and you want to do it up, prepare to pay. I wish I could do a dyno run for you so I could show you the exact numbers if there was a change in performance at all. But for now, you just have to trust the stats that are on Arm Motorsports or other YouTubers that have done a full run through with similar parts. All in all, I love the modifications apart from the blow-off valve and the charge pipe, but it's a quick fix for now and it's doing the job. My car works and sounds quite well. I just prefer something of quality to fit in with the rest. It looks better, it sounds better, and it goes better, and obviously all these mods, they should be easy to do, but I'm pretty mechanically inept. They're easy to install and they're safe mods to have. So that's it for this one. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out some of my other uploads and I'll catch you all later.